Ian.
Dave.
What is a Hyundai Santa Fe doing in my driveway?
I wish I knew.
Yeah.
I'm in town visiting at home.
Yeah, that's got to be weird.
It is weird.
Coming back to your hometown after, yeah.
It's weird to visit home temporarily for a few days.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're Jenny and I are in town to like check on the house progress.
Yeah.
And all of that. Do like a few like meeting type things.
Sure.
Moving and shaking. I hear the kids say. And we were able to make recording in person happen. So
yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Something that doesn't even happen when I live here.
Yes, when you live here, right? Yeah. Don't read into that.
No, it's fine. But yeah, I rented a Hyundai Santa Fe.
In red.
In red.
Yeah.
And it is fine.
Is it really? Okay. What was the last Hyundai you had that you hated? Was it the Tucson? Where it was like you definitely got like different than what everyone at, like you got the way downgraded version. I think it was a Tucson.
It might have been a Tucson, yeah.
Okay.
This Santa Fe is like, it's okay. I mean, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were the tire pressures and what was the base set?
The base was set all the way up.
Of course it was.
Nothing else in the sound settings was touched, just the bass.
Of course.
There were 20 iPhones, all called like Mark's iPhone.
Past tense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Hyundai, it actually gives you an like delete all.
Oh no way.
Yeah, you can delete all.
Okay.
With like 2 button clicks.
Okay.
And still,
I officially call that, as of now, July 8th, 2024, the Ian function.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, so I've started going a step farther because I just do the factory reset as I roll into the rental return. That's my plan.
Okay, you just drop an EMT blast.
Yep, because then it deletes all the stored contacts and everything, not just the phone data. Right. So, yeah, that's what I do. I just do the hard factory reset.
Okay, I like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got a little paper clip that you're unbending. A 3.5 floppy ejects.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Oh my god!
Yeah, there was a scene in the Venture Brothers where they had to reboot Helper, their robot helper thing, and like they had to push in both his eyes and like get a paper clip in the back of his head.
Right?
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea of you just like resetting a rental car. You can reset it like electronics wise, but you can't reset the other things you've done to it.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to factory reset a Dodge Charger, you have to put your completed child support payment into the dash, like a time card. Chunk chunk.
Yeah. That's so good. How red am I turning?
Very red.
I like that one. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, we need more like factory reset protocols.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. What else would there be? Like Volvos, you have to fill one of the cup holders with maple syrup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it can only be done in a Whole Foods parking lot.
Yes.
The only way it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Tesla factory resets are done via Twitter.
Yes. Yeah.
You have to personally get Elon Musk to tweet a factory reset to your car.
Yes, yeah, it's just OMG LOL skull.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, in the owner's manual it's like factory reset. Step 1, create a Twitter account. Step 2, we know you already have a Twitter account and you're a shit poster.
Step 3, we call it X now.
Yeah. Step 4, okay, reply guy. Yes. Okay. All right. I like that. So last time you had a rental car, you were the first driver of it.
Yes, I am far from the first driver of this one. This one has like 30,000 miles on it.
Oh, wow. For a rental car, that's seen some stuff.
It has seen some stuff, yes.
Okay.
I'm guessing each one of those previous owners took 1 horsepower with them. Because it is a slow.
Okay.
It feels very underpowered for how big that car is.
Is the guitar lessons like tear off flyer on a phone pole?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Like you just take 1 horsepower with you when you leave.
That's exactly how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sucks. That really sucks. But
yeah. But it'll be fine. It's only a couple days.
Right. Right. Yeah. What do you think the worst vehicle is that you've endured for the shortest period of time? In your entire like automotive rental like interactions?
Well, one time, this was several years ago now, you know, I travel quite a bit, so I usually get upgrades or whatever. But I had left the Baltimore airport in like a Ford Focus or something that I kind of liked. That it was I had walked past some like bigger stuff. It was like, oh, there's like a Focus, and it was like a nice trim.
Okay.
It was like an up-trimmed Focus.
Yeah.
I was like, sure, I'll take that. And it was like super late at night. It was like 2:00 in the morning when I was leaving.
Is this the one that turned out to be wrecked?
It was wrecked, yes.
Yes. Okay. Sorry to cut to the chase.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. But then like I was so groggy and tired because like my flight had been delayed so many times, and I didn't do a walk around. And then I got like an hour and a half outside of Baltimore, which, if anyone knows, it gets real remote real fast.
Yeah.
An hour outside of Baltimore. And it turned out like the whole side of the car was like basically taken off. And it was like all dented in, and
yeah,
things were amiss. It was not driving correctly. And so the next morning I had to go, they found me a place to go return it, like trade it in, but it was like a small town place that, you know, only like rents like the body shop or whatever.
Right.
And so the only car they had was a Mitsubishi Mirage.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I had to drive that like to Washington, D.C. I was so angry. I was angry with myself because I was like, how did I not notice all of that?
Yeah.
But also, why was it just available for rent?
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is like somebody like backed their car out.
Yeah. And did it in the lot.
And took like a large part of my rental car with them when they did that.
I want this one and part of this one.
Exactly.
Okay.
I have a coupon for 1.5 rental cars.
This Groupon gets me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I can think of.
Okay. Okay. Oh man.
Pretty annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. I was behind a Mirage in traffic the other day, and it was so wild seeing how skinny the tires are on those things.
I've driven them in a couple of circumstances. I've driven them around a city.
Okay.
And they're a lot of fun to like toss around because they are terrible, but in a fun way.
It seems like it. Yeah.
But you know, driving on the Beltway and on the rural back roads of Maryland, not so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the worst rental car, or the worst kind of car I had to endure for a short period of time. Yeah, I think it may have been when I owned this, like that maroon Toyota Camry. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was before we knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it had been stolen and wrecked and stolen, and who knows what happened. And there was just an eBay engine in it, and it was rough.
That's what you want.
That's when I learned what a neutral safety switch was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to that thing's credit, something happened where it actually jumped a timing belt, and it was okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Something happened with the belt tensioner, like the belt tensioner let go, and it jumped timing.
Mm-hmm.
But everything was fine.
And it got better.
No, it wouldn't start, but
right.
And the mechanics couldn't figure it out. And then I think like the guy I had bought it from, or somebody gave me the idea. This was before I had like really any mechanical like prowess whatsoever. like told me like, oh, it sounds like maybe the timing might be messed up, like. And so I called the shop and I was like, have you guys maybe checked that? They were like, no, like, and then I got a call back like 3 hours later and they were like, how? And I was like, dude, I don't know. Like, I'm not taking any credit for that. I think it was probably the person that sold it to me. They probably felt sketched when they put the timing belt tensioner in.
Yeah.
Because if they called that up, if they were like, oh, if any part's going to let go.
Right.
It's probably that one that I wasn't too thrilled with that I installed.
The one thing that I touched.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Or that one thing that like was so hard to get to. I just said, fuck it. And like sent the bolt home on it, Oof. Yeah. So I think that was probably the worst. Yeah.
But it survived? Like
it did. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I know. It kept running.
That's crazy.
Right? Yeah. Weird. But hey, yeah. Rental cars, man.
Yeah, always an adventure.
Yeah.
Always an adventure.
Yeah.
Well, we got off the rental car bus today and Jenny was like kind of leisurely walking off the bus. And I was like, no, we gotta we gotta go.
Move.
Because it was like a full bus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, no, this is the protocol is you do a lap as quick as you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you find something.
Right? Yeah. You're like eyeing up the competition, like on the bus, like, oh, Bert over there. He's been doing hamstring stretches since we were at the airport.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, like a general admission concert.
Yeah. I only broke the hips of like 3 old people trying to get to my Hyundai Santa Fe.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're here, Ian. I'm glad you're here.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Thank
you for letting me just show up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I is everything else okay, like car wise in your, vicinity? Like,
yeah,
Jetta's just doing Jetta things.
Yeah. It's been super rock solid. Like,
okay.
We put like 4,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
Like this summer.
Instantly. Yeah.
And it has not missed a beat. It's been great. So, one thing, the button for the driver assist is broken.
Oh, really?
On the stock.
Oh, okay.
And it gives us a warning.
Oh.
Every once in a while.
Huh. Okay.
But guess who never uses the driver assist functions and so does not mind?
Gotcha.
Me.
Yeah. This guy. Yeah. This guy. Okay.
That's literally been the only thing that we've had go wrong with it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, we had to replace the shocks. But
well, yeah, but that's a wear item.
Yeah. 50,000 miles, though.
Well, that's it. There's Ian Miles and then there's Miles.
Like, okay.
You're putting,
we get it.
You're putting dog ears on the car.
Yeah. I do have a message, though, for the good people of Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
Because I've spent a lot of time driving in both Wisconsin and Minnesota. Because we're right on the border. And I just want them to know that the state troopers aren't like posted with sniper rifles to take you out if you approach the speed limit.
Okay.
And some people have things to do. Dave, they're so slow.
Are they really?
They're so slow.
Is it slow and left lane campy or no lane awareness, people behind them don't care? No
lane awareness until you try to pass them.
Oh, okay.
I've had several instances of I'm going a reasonable speed.
Sure.
For the road.
Yeah.
I am going much faster than the person who I am approaching.
Right.
I give the little flashy flash courtesy. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I would like to get around you. Move the fuck out of the way.
Yeah. You use the correct lane.
Use the correct lane. They don't move. Great. I'll go around. So I go to pass on the right. Then all of a sudden they locate the accelerator pedal.
Yes.
And then they speed up. And it's like, I'm not like questioning your masculinity by passing you.
Right.
I just want to go a faster speed than you were going.
Right. There's a reason I got that you didn't have me behind you before.
Right.
Now you do.
Right.
There is a reason that happened.
Yeah. And there's nobody in front of you.
Right.
Nothing else caused this.
Right.
Man. Yeah.
It's almost the what's the principle called? It's social loafing, right? I took like one psychology class in college, like, forever ago. So this is probably something that's been completely debunked because it was the 90s. Who knows? But it was kind of the principle of social loafing. Like if there is a group of people all kind of making one effort, or that they collectively and individually are kind of like making less of an effort than they would if they were just on their own doing a thing. Like when there's a bunch of people pulling away from a stoplight, usually like they kind of like go, our tendency in these groups is to kind of just move a little bit slower and to kind of like move with the group. It's like a really deep instinctual thing. Like if you're playing tug of war, like you're not pulling as hard as you absolutely could, right? There's like this weird kind of like principle called social loafing. And it's what you're experiencing is like the opposite, is that a social like addition is inspiring like an accelerated or shitty behavior, right? Yeah. Where they like were just on their own before, but the presence of another person, and they're like, oh, like now it's a competition, or now I'm right.
I don't know. It's weird.
There's been those times where like I've kind of checked out driving and I found myself driving a little bit slower, a little bit faster than what you were thinking you were, right? Like your mind's just going, right? You got a lot you're dealing with or something. And then somebody else like passes you or something. It's like, oh, like, God, what am I doing? But like, you're not going to speed up and like,
wait, why would you get in their way then? Like, it's just a weird instinct. To do.
Yeah. You hear that, Minnesota?
Yeah. It's the skinny one on the right. Just use that one all the time.
Okay. Hey, it like these like cultural driving differences for like regional things. Yeah.
It's a real thing. Like people have very different driving styles from even just different parts of the country, and it is wild.
I remember the first time I actually drove in New York City proper and LA proper. Like it was a very eye-opening experience.
I bet.
Right? Because initially you think like everyone's cutting you off, everyone's being a dick. Like, no, that's just how traffic works here.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's no reason to flip anybody off or anything like that. Like this is all just expected, and just how people effectively move like and consolidate into lanes and stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I always think about when I drove in Italy, and it's a nation full of Nissan Altima drivers.
Okay.
But it works because everyone is a Nissan Altima driver.
Right.
And so you know what they're going to do. You're just like, what would a Nissan Altima driver do in this situation? Launch themselves over the curb to get around me? Great. That's what they're going to
do. Okay. Yeah.
You go for a gap that's half the size of their car. That's what they're going to go for.
This is happening. This is happening.
Yeah. So faster. Everyone needs to drive faster.
Just move out of my boy's way. Otherwise, you're going to get a Hyundai Tucson up there. Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said you had a bunch of things for me.
I knew you were coming in. You got a lot of stuff going on. This is one of those shows where like, and you do this for me every now and then. It's like, I got you, boo. Like I got stuff. Right.
I like it. Okay.
So, I've been doing all of the car stuff, Ian. I have been doing so much car stuff. I've been doing a little too much car stuff, actually.
Really?
So my Fiat is still on jack stands, getting ready for autocross in about 2 weeks.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I've done one event, and I just didn't have time to do some upgrades that I wanted to do. So I have put an electric fan on the oil cooler.
Yeah.
I put a fan speed controller on it. I need to wire that to a switch that I'll install somewhere on the, console plastics or whatever. I put a turbo blanket on.
Ooh, cozy turbo.
Yeah, I'll get that little baby, keep it all that heat in. Yeah. I'm very anxious to see how much of a difference that makes. I have new bump stops and spring seats for the rear. I'm going to put adjustable sway bar links on the front to stiffen the front spring.
Okay.
Because I'm still getting too much roll. So I either need to like put some spacers for my bump stop inside the front coilovers, which I've seen people do. I mean, they basically just kind of make it out of like a plastic cutting board, right? Because it's just like a nylon that is smooth to move up and down like the suspension shaft.
Okay.
Right. And then, it's just to kind of keep the suspension from bottoming out in the front.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then what else was I going to do? Oh, I put a forged diverter valve on it. It is still atmospheric, so it'll still make noises.
Okay, good.
But I think I was having a problem with the other one maintaining a seal when it got like really hot.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think I was losing some boost in higher temperatures.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, because like you could feel the boost kind of flag, like you'd accelerate.
Yeah.
Right? I think you felt it.
I did feel it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think that's where it was?
I think so, because I don't think it's a straight boost leak.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, because I don't think it really like behaved that way. Yeah.
I don't know.
But then there'd be pulls where you're just perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. So it seemed like more kind of like a mechanical stickiness than it did anything else.
Yeah. I like that theory. Makes sense.
Yeah. And the forged diverter valve was on sale a while ago. So I got it, I think, for less than $200.
Nice.
So yeah, forged stuff, man. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They like it.
Yeah.
Right? They really like that oil cooler. Yeah. But so just a lot of stuff to button up. Oh, I got a like a Roadrunner horn on Amazon, and I'm gonna put a couple resistors in line to it to like really quiet it down. And so it's just gonna be like a little meep meep. Because I want like the vintage Fiat 500 meep meep.
Yeah,
horn. Mm-hmm. And I looked on eBay. I couldn't find one,
right.
So this is my attempt to try to get that. So I'll have like a secondary horn button somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then every now and then my CarPlay unit locks up, every now and then. So I'm just installing like a normally closed momentary switch, so I can just reset it real quick without having to unplug the AC adapter for it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's wired to like an add a fuse block. So I have to like lift it up and kind of wrangle the cable out of the back of it and put it back in. So like just being able to pop it real quick.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I mean, it doesn't seem like you're doing anything major, really. I mean, you're doing a lot of like, I think you're into like the nice to haves.
Yes, I definitely am with the Fiat.
That's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'm wiring in an AC inverter because I'll be running a PC in there for, like we were talking about, live streaming my autocrosses. Our buddy Brian reached out and said that like he cannot wait to see you like do live commentary for the autocrosses.
I want to do it from the passenger seat.
Yeah, you can. You can. We'll pump mics into the live stream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is going to be fun.
You'll be able to do it remote and in person if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to enable you to shit talk me at a distance if need be.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My like ultimate goal is like the Mystery Science Theater version of like track days.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I want you riffing on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe this is how we do our interview show idea.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 30-second hit at a time.
Yes. Yeah. Tell me about your mother. Yeah. So, yeah, but you're right. That is a good point. I never thought about it like that I am deep into the nice to haves on that car.
To have a race car.
Yeah.
And to be into the nice to haves.
Yeah.
That's a good place to be.
It is. You're right. Yeah. I put a lot of work into it, but yeah, you're right.
You're done. You're past major setup changes.
Right. Yeah.
Other than the adjustable sway bar links, which I'm sure you'll tinker with, but
sure. Yeah. But it's tinker mode, right?
Yeah.
Rather than build mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a good point. I appreciate the perspective. I think I was lost in the sauce and just really didn't think about it that way.
But yeah, that's because if you don't get any one of those things done, you're still going to have a really fun weekend.
Right.
It's not you're fixing the shit you broke last weekend.
Right.
That's a good place to be.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
See him.
All right. Bye. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. In other kinds of like areas, automotive areas. So for the Lemons truck, for the HHR, so we actually had an engine pull party at the Denver U-Pull on Sunday. So yeah, just yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was PETA. PETA came down.
Nice.
And Mike from the team, who's fantastic to work with. I got to say off the top, I am so lucky to be in with this group of guys because the way that we work together and stuff is just, it's on point, man.
That's great.
Like, it's fantastic. And so we went through all of the compatible cars at the Denver U-Pull. They had like maybe 8 total. There were a couple with more than 300,000 miles on them.
Wow.
And that's like junkyard 300,000 miles when you pull like the old oil change sticker off the windshield.
Yeah.
You know, like where it's like, I'm not even popping the valve cover on this thing. Like, yeah right. We found, let's see, we popped the valve cover on one and there was coolant beads all over it. So, and the cams are kind of gunky. We pulled another one. Let's see. Did we look at another one? I can't remember. Yeah. But the one that we ended up pulling, we spent about 4.5 hours on it. It looked pretty good initially. And then I'm going to go ahead and share some images.
What did you pull it out of?
It was a Cobalt. It was a 2007 Cobalt.
Okay.
So it's the L61 engine, 2007 and 2008. So this Cobalt, Pontiac G5, Saturn Ion, only 2007. That was last year for those. Pour one out.
Yeah, or not.
Yeah. The Ion Redline, yes, definitely pour one out, right? But yeah, so the Ion, what did I say? The Malibu, the HHR, the Cobalt, the Ion.
G6 or G5.
Yeah, the G5. And I think that might be it. There may be one or two others that I'm forgetting. But yeah, so the 2009 or 10 introduced variable valve timing. So you can't, like, unless you're already on one of those and have the ECU and everything for it.
Right.
You don't want to take one of those engines and pop it in. So it's the L61 from that era. And let me pull up some pictures, buddy, because we were working very well together. Everything went great. And then we faced a setback.
Oh, no.
Ian, we faced a setback. Let me see. Junkyard Adventures is the name of the folder. We got the big like cherry picker, like the mobile A-frame, you know, and like I wheeled that, like, you know, I didn't realize you could lock the rear, like a set of the wheels in one direction until I had already like maneuvered this through like, you know, all of the aisles and took like the long way around and stuff. Cause that is just chaos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
when they're all casters. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, and like you can't touch them. I like even with my long arms, I had to like do this one. Yeah. So,
oops, all casters.
Yes. So we're pulling the engine and we're lifting it up. We get it like up to like eye height, like the block. And then Ian, let me pull up Chrome again so that we can.
Is there like a big hole in the block?
Ian, the block.
Oh, there was a big hole in the block.
The block was windowed.
Oh no!
It sent a rot, and like we had turned it. It had turned.
Well, yeah, because there's nothing inside. Right. We're like, man, this thing turns like a dream.
Right.
It all fell out.
Yeah, look at that. You can see the crankshaft.
Oh no!
So I mean. Thankfully, and like this goes back to the guys that, you know, are on the team.
Yeah.
We looked at it as more of a learning exercise. I honestly think we could straight up pull an engine out of a junkyard car in about 2-ish hours now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's probably going to be a good skill to have because you should probably pull 2 of them.
No, that's the plan.
And then you're going to have to do this again in the pits at some point, probably.
Right. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So here, let me go to that other picture because
somebody done broke that.
Somebody did done break it. And this one looked to have about 160-ish thousand miles on it.
Wow.
So not bad.
Yeah.
And it looked okay underneath the valve cover.
Mm-hmm.
Okay enough that we proceeded to pull it.
Yeah.
So this right here, you can see is the alternator
Mhm.
up here on the upper left-hand corner, and the intake manifold on the upper right. And so like and then there's this like ridge between the oil pan and the block here.
Mm-hmm.
And so that hole was kind of hidden by like all the stuff around it.
Right.
And we did not notice it until it was in the air at eye level.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's an impressive
It is.
failure.
It is. Yeah, because it's not like these things are known for like being super unreliable,
No.
right?
That would have been dramatic when that happened.
Yeah, that is not just neglect, that is neglect. Like that is a lot of
Yeah.
driving without any oil, like
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Somebody was trying.
Yeah.
That.
yeah, purposeful.
After you pulled that, did you look around to see like if there was like marks on in the engine bay? Like did a rod like hit something else in the engine bay?
That's a good point. We did not look. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I
Yeah.
wonder because it looked like that looks like a dramatic
Yeah,
event.
it was probably about a 4 square inch, like 2 by 2 inch by 2 inch.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Yeah. So we left it on the ground in front of the car,
Oh man.
and like
Yeah.
we didn't even bother pulling the head because I think a new head for these engines is $260.
Right.
Like if you pull a head and take it to the machine shop for a valve job and stuff, you're going to be out $200 anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh man. So and no more idea what happened to your engine?
No, we haven't had time to do the tear down on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's up at the barn way up north.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so tear down is still pending on that.
Okay. So you guys are still on the hunt for
2.2.
2.0.
Yep. 2007, 2008 L61 motor.
Okay, so listeners, if you have a coworker with a Cobalt that you don't like, text 720-515-1391.
And I do want to give a shout out to our buddy Dana, who is so nice. Dana asked if we needed anything for the truck that like he could pop in an envelope and send to us. So absolutely, Dana, thank you so much for offering that. If you can manage to get a great L61 in an envelope, we would appreciate it. But,
Yeah. Maybe with a secret turbocharger.
Yeah. And when we were in the, so another great thing about being at U-Pull, like what's one of your favorite things? Like seeing the other cars at U-Pull.
Right.
Yeah. Saw a W8 Phaeton.
No way.
Yep. In what looked like really good condition. And it still had like, I should have taken pictures, but we were done by the end of the day.
I'm sure,
as you can
yeah.
imagine. Yeah. It was one of those days where you turn your shirt on you turn your shirt inside out for the drive home so that you don't mess up your interior.
Right.
Right. But it still had like tons of like dealer like plastics and stuff on it. Like maybe like
Weird.
it went into the shop for maintenance to fix whatever.
Somebody got the bill.
Yeah. Somebody got the bill. And
They were like, fuck this.
Yeah, I think so. Because like it was like a lot of that protective stuff that you think that they would lay down wherever they were getting it serviced, and it was all VW tagged and stuff.
Right.
And so I had brought a couple of those like interlocking foam mat pieces for us to lay on. Actually, PETA had the thought to bring those. I spaced it. So we plucked some of those out of the garage before we left. And one of them was just so covered in like transmission fluid and stuff. Like I was like, we're just leaving this here, like for whoever happens to get on the ground at the U-Pull, right? Like we're giving parts back to the U-Pull at this point, at this phase. And I was like, what would be rad is if like the Phaeton has like really nice floor mats. I'm going to get a set of Phaeton floor mats.
Yeah.
Right? No, they're just like normal,
like
floor, like they're not even like
Passat floor mat.
They're not, you'd think like they'd be like a nice like high pile and have like something etched, embroidered in them or something. No, just like plain beige.
Is the clock still in it?
Oh shit.
You should have gotten the clock for the race truck.
Oh my God. I'm going to go back and get that clock.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're right. That nice analog clock.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, buddy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Get in the car.
Yeah. Or just get the whole Phaeton.
Right.
And drop a VR6 in it or literally any other engine.
Yeah, I mean, if it was slow with a W8, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It can be slow. It doesn't matter.
True.
That's not the point.
Yeah, it's not like I'm chasing power with an HHR.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was disappointed that it didn't have nicer floor mats. Yeah.
Man, a wrecked W8, I mean, that would be a sick Lemons car.
Right? Whatever you managed to shoehorn that into.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so let's do a thought exercise.
Oh, no, I mean the Phaeton.
Oh,
like,
the Phaeton.
Put a crappy engine in the Phaeton.
Oh, okay.
Leave as much of the interior as possible.
Sure.
And put a cage in it.
Yeah.
You'd be Lemons royalty.
You would. Yeah, talk about IOE, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. So what if you went the other way? What if you wanted to take that W8 and put it into something that kind of got you to the same, like, maybe the inverse of that?
The W8. Well, that's interesting. So my dad has a W8
Passat,
which he still has and still running, and
it's amazing.
He still drives it. What would I put that in? I don't know. Like a like a Gen 3 Camaro.
Oh, okay.
I think it'd be funny.
Yeah, very blasphemous, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it'd have to be something cheap.
Right. Yeah.
And it'd have to be something big enough that you could like get it in and out. Because I think it's a big engine.
It is a big engine. It almost looks like a Subaru Boxer engine,
right? Because
of like that angle, that wide angle. That car takes a wide stance, Ian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I almost kind of want to go backwards with it and like see if you could somehow shoehorn it into a Volkswagen Beetle or a Corvair.
Right.
Yeah.
A Corvair. That's a great idea. A rear engine W8 Corvair. Oh my God. That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. So
people would be really angry with you.
They would. They would on many levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be the way to get someone really, really angry.
Right. Yeah. What if you put it in a Porsche 911?
Oh man. Yeah.
How upset do you think Porsche people would get?
I don't know, because people put LSs in 911s, which I think is super cool.
Yeah, that's a fantastic idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's a good idea. I'll have to think about that.
It might be one of those things where like they're like, I'm not upset. Like they're like, I'll allow it. You know,
I don't think anyone would be upset with you. I think they would want to do like a wellness check on you.
Right.
What's wrong with you? Yes. What are you doing? Where
are you getting the money for this?
Right.
Yeah, that would just be an instant IRS audit.
Yeah.
That's not a cry for help. That's a cry.
What sort of drugs are you trafficking?
Right. Yeah. And why are they not on the DEA's radar? Yeah. Okay. Huh. Yeah. So saw a Phaeton.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is one of those things where, like you said, like they probably got the bill, like whatever, put it there because the body was in clean shape.
Oh, man.
And if like the dealer is not like pulling parts off of it for like their supplies, they're not concerned about like keeping other Phaetons running.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I don't know.
And we saw a driving Phaeton PETA and I on the way back from this whole adventure.
I don't know is this a good omen or a bad omen?
I don't know.
If you see a bunch of Phaetons.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, is like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse?
I saw 2. And yeah. The 4 horsepowers of the apocalypse. Yeah.
The W8's a cool engine. It really is. But man, I can imagine it must be catastrophically expensive when something breaks.
Right? Yeah. I still think about that like W8 Passat flow chart that like somebody made where like at the very bottom on the left, it was like, do you own an engine hoist? Yes or no? And it was like, yes. It's like, yes. And it was like, okay, like you can buy the Fate or the Passat. And like the no said, no, why? It was like, do not get the Passat.
Why would I need an engine noise?
Right? Yeah. Like just that innocent, like just blissful, like just caught up in the idea of the car and not the reality. Yeah. Yeah. But in the U-Pull yard, all you see is the reality.
Yeah.
The idea of the car has long passed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That came crashing home with the $200 check they got from the for the scrap value.
Right? Yeah. Do you think that you've seen some disappointing stuff in the junkyard, like, or sad, like anything that's like seemed morose to you?
Well, every time you see a Saab, I feel like
there was a 3-door NG900 there with some like driver's side damage, but yeah. Yeah, stuff
like that. I think I once saw a Volkswagen Corrado.
Oh yeah, I love the Corrado.
Yeah, and that was a bummer, and it had been kind of just like stripped for like the seats and the interior pieces and stuff like that. You're like, oh man, that was a cool car once upon a time.
It was, right?
I think that was probably the one most recently that I was like, oh, that's a bummer.
Sure, yeah. Tetanus and tragedy, man. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was a low spot, even though it wasn't that low, you know. But then I had the privilege of helping another Lemons teammate named Chad with his truck.
Okay.
So he has a 1997 Toyota Tacoma that he bought brand new.
Oh, wow.
Right? Like after high school, he bought this truck. And it has gone through some changes since he's owned it. Okay. Right? So he very much loves like rock crawling, off-roading, stuff like that. And he has taken like a very sensible, like utilitarian build to it.
Okay.
Like I think his axles are, 20 some odd years old. Like he's not just like, he's not a nice parts, like I have to have the newest, nicest parts guy. He's like, I have to have the part that works guy.
And will last.
Yes, exactly. Right. And so here is his truck. Right. And there's Chad behind the window here. He's one of the people that welded the roll cage on our Lemons car.
Nice.
Incredible welder. And he and Sulfrane knocked it out. And so this is sitting on 38s. He has lengthened the frame so that so it has, like, you can't see it in this photo, but the approach angle is damn near 90 degrees.
Oh,
it
okay.
is.
Yeah.
The front wheels are massively forward from where they normally were. And this is one of those cars that is 1,000% a labor of love. Like he loves this truck. You can just sense the emotional attachment to it. Right. And it's awesome. Like Chad's a super nice guy. And, he, a little bit ago, he did a thing. He put a supercharger on it.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the 3.4 liter Toyota engine, right? The V6. And there was like an actual like supercharger kit for it.
Yep.
So these are all like factory TRD parts. He got the supercharger that does say TRD on it because he had told me that there was a version that didn't have TRDs. Like I gotta have the one that has TRD.
Okay.
Right.
Nice.
And it looks good, right? Like I mean, the engine bay is really well maintained, and like he's taken really good care of it. And I think there's a better picture of the blower here. Yeah, there you go. So this is my first adventure, like working on a supercharged car. And so his, if you have the supercharger, and there's, as you can imagine, there's deep like Facebook groups about like supercharging
I'm sure
this exact car, right? Like doing all this. There's a guy, much like Genuine Saab or Taliaferro in Springfield. There's a guy that like specializes in this kind of setup, this blower setup for these Toyotas. It's Underdog Racing Development, URD, right? And so he has a piggyback ECU that he's developed that he's been selling for like over 20 years.
Okay.
And so Chad wired in the piggyback, and had the blower on, and it ran great the first day. And then he was dealing with it intermittently dying for over 2 weeks straight, like all kinds of random conditions and stuff like that. So we touched base and we kind of like talked through a bunch of stuff. I have him logging data on with the OBD port, right?
Yeah.
And so this is my first time like digesting OBD data, but I was able to find it like, and I did a test drive with him. We found a couple things. So this back here is the boost or the bypass actuator valve, right? So that you're not like funneling supercharger air in like right off the hop, right? Yep. And so like kind of like a wastegate for a turbo, I guess. Like, but yeah. So that had actually kind of worked itself off of that bracket. It was almost kind of sitting loose.
Yeah.
And then when I was looking at his CSV data from the data logging, I found this like weird flat spot with his throttle position sensor data. And like where it was like flat and then kind of not flat. And this is my first time like kind of digging through stuff like this. So like I'm trying to like just, you know how I am, right? Like patterns. I need patterns, right? And so I'm like, okay, so like the throttle position and math data, you know, and overall load calculations, all this stuff, like this is all following like RPMs. And like I'm like getting a good idea of like kind of how all this data relates to one another. And then there was this kind of weird outlier flat spot at the end, and we did a test drive and it did die at the end.
Yeah.
And his throttle position sensor was kind of like, it was weird. The data was odd. It was flat. And so he actually found that the throttle position sensor had a broken connector or a broken like clip.
Oh, nice.
And was backing itself out. Right.
Okay.
So he zip tied that together. It's not going anywhere. Right. And still dealing with a little bit of rough running. And so on Saturday, so I did the junkyard thing on Sunday. On Saturday, he brought his truck over to the garage and we completely dug into all the wiring for the piggyback ECU while Chad was working on replacing a speedometer cable. And so the instructions were great from the Underdog Racing development guy. You can tell he's just like done this for like 1 billion years, right?
Right.
You know, and Chad's been communicating with him, and the guy's gonna bench test the unit for Chad, even though Chad got the unit used from somebody else.
Oh wow! So
definitely like want to give this guy a shout out. You know, yeah, he goes by Gadget online, the Underdog Racing development guy, and so he's going to bench test the unit for Chad for $25, you know, and just to make sure everything's okay. So we pulled the piggyback. The piggyback was underneath the dash, up on the crash bar in the dash. Chad had zip tied it up there nice, and the ECU is behind the glove box on those cars.
Right.
And so I wanted to do all the wiring, like to reconnect everything, so that when he got the ECU back, the piggyback back, he could just like unplug this thing and plug like the taps right into where they needed to be tapped and the intercepts right where they needed to be intercepted.
Yeah.
And so like I spent the first maybe like hour doing this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Super fun.
Right. But like, it's like that thing where like, you know, I do think it's fun. Cause like I told Chad a couple times, I'm like, you handed me a Rubik's Cube, dude. Like, you know? And so like I even made notes of like what is a female connector and a male connector, like thought it all through so that when it came back, like where you had this like female and male connector for the intercepts, that the ECU had the same connection and the intercept followed that same route. And so I took the kind of mindset that like everything going into the ECU would have a female connector like receiving, and the engine and the piggyback would all have male connectors sending.
Yeah.
Right. And like thinking about it that way. And so with that, I was able to like make this whole like almost like kind of sub harness or sub like connection block.
Yeah.
thing, like this spaghetti wiring, but it all makes sense. And Chad has this notebook, but when he gets it back, he should just be able to like unplug the E and F and G and H and I and J and connect those E to E, F to F.
Yep.
Yeah,
this is what I was helping Joe with last year on.
Okay.
He basically did this for the whole wiring harness for the whole truck.
Okay.
And he had, so this is for the S10 team that I was on.
Yeah.
He had sub harnesses for the ECU to the firewall, and then from the firewall to like the dash and all that stuff. So
okay,
he did this for the whole front half of the truck.
Yeah.
It was bonkers.
Yeah.
It was insane.
It's so time consuming if you're going to do it nice with good connectors and heat shrink tubing and everything.
It took forever.
Yeah.
It took so long.
So this, which is theoretically basically 6 kind of connection points, took it, like starting from scratch, took me about 4.5 to 5 hours.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to make it look nice and make it, neat and all that. Like
label everything.
It's work.
Right?
It's super tedious.
Yeah.
But it is fun because I mean, it's one of those like wiring is nice because it works or it doesn't.
Right.
Mostly.
And we did find a spotty connection when we pulled.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, especially, and that's, again, Colorado.
Right.
That's the thing that we have to, everywhere else has to deal with rust.
Right.
We have to deal with all of the wires and rubber is dry and cracked and turning to dust before your eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
That's nice work, though. That's
thank
cool.
you. Thank you. So I'm excited for Chad to get it back.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely, if he wants, I'll help him reinstall it. But yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So on the test drive, I did get to experience what it was like to ride in that car on a mountain back road.
Oh, cool.
Like, like up, like, like kind of the equivalent of like Clear Creek Canyon or something like that. Twisty turnies in a truck with 38s that like, and the driver knows the roads and is sending it. And like, you hear the supercharger whine and
that sounds fun.
It's like a carnival ride. It's amazing. It's so fun. It's so fun. Yeah.
That's funny.
And I should point out, this is his daily driver.
Oh, wow.
This is not just a toy. This is his absolute daily driver.
It's
and
commitment.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's that thing like that we keep talking about on the show. Like people's persistence determines whether or not these vehicles remain or not.
Absolutely.
Right. If someone was persistent enough, that Phaeton in the junkyard would still be on the road.
True.
Right.
True. Yeah. And they'd be living out of it probably.
They would. Right. For that. Yes. Persistence needs to be like have a solid backer of, ignorance or stupidity or super deep pockets.
Yeah.
Right. But for both like your R32, like my Fiat Pita's, M3, Chad's truck, like persistence is what keeps these cars on the road.
For sure.
Yeah. And so I told Chad, I asked Chad if we could talk about the truck on the show and he said yes. And so I want to really like, thank you, Chad, for letting us talk about it and for letting me help you with it because it's a lot of fun, man.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm learning a lot. It's cool. So
very cool.
Yeah. So there you go. So I've been doing car stuff, dude.
You have been.
Right? Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Lots of car stuff. Are you jealous of pulling a block and finding a hole in it?
I'm jealous of like having wrenching time with friends.
Yeah. That's the thing. It
having
is
it
about
end in
that.
Heartbreak though is not fun.
Right. The wrenching times with friends.
That's frustrating.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Peter was talking about lemons. He was like, maybe lemons is like the friends you make along
100%.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have to tell yourself that until you start doing well.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go, man. Yeah. Lemons and car stuff. Yeah.
Very cool. Should we play a license plate game and wrap it?
Yeah.
We've been just chatting for
a long
time.
Right?
Yeah.
Car stuff, dude. Okay. All right. I do have a license plate game for you that I made for you myself.
Yay!
With pictures other people sent me.
What?
I know, right? Okay.
Did they send it to you via 720-515-1391?
They did, Ian.
See?
They did.
See?
Yeah. We have a few new folks that have sent us stuff as well. So
good.
Yeah. So I have some new names added to our contacts. Yeah.
Nice.
And a while ago, our buddy Eric out in Illinois has been sending us stuff like probably since like episode 3 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, for a long time.
Right. And so, yes, thank you very much, Eric. I do want Eric to know that like for the longest time, he was Eric from IL in like when I was saving these pictures. It'd be like the plate name dash Eric from IL. Right. You're just Eric, and you've actually been just Eric for a while, and so like you were upgraded a long time ago, just from Eric from IL to just Eric. So yeah, just to let you know. Yeah. And your father, Eric, is just Ian's dad.
Perfect.
Not a problem. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. This one is called I Have a Car and a Job.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I have a bunch of these. Too.
Right. It is a whole subgenre of plates, right? Like they want you to know the occupation they have.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Here you go, buddy. All right.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we've got a Yukon XL on some maybe just powder coated rims or some maybe nice rims with some tint. We've got a Honda Ridgeline, okay, with a camper top on it, which is an interesting combination.
It is, because that's a pretty short bed. Nobody's sleeping in there.
No.
Yeah.
And then we've got a Subaru Outback.
Yeah, I think so.
Or maybe a
I don't know if it's a Crosstrek or not.
Crosstrek. Yeah, it could be Crosstrek.
Yeah.
And then the plates, very interesting. Ballerina, BLRINA. I do taxes, or I.axes.
Yeah, I kept thinking like idiot, like, but, and then it finally clicked in my head. I do taxes.
IDOTAXS. And then Remax. REEMAX. Oh man. So one of these people is a realtor showing up in this car.
Right. And that's the thing, like realtor vanity plates are a subgenre in a subgenre.
Yes.
Right?
They are a thing.
Yeah.
And they're usually on very like nouveau riche type cars, right?
Right. Yeah. Like brand new Lexus RXs.
Your first owner Infinities.
Yeah. There you go. Yep. First owner Infinities.
Your Mercedes MLs.
Cadillac CTS or ATS.
Yes.
Right.
Lots of, and then lots of SUVs.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But Ballerina, I do taxes and Remax. Oh man.
Right.
This is a very interesting.
This is a conundrum. I had some time to think this one through. There were 3 other plates in this that were kind of rotated in and out at various times. Like I actually I had a little like card building game with this. Yeah.
Oh wow. This is interesting. I have a gut instinct. And I don't know if I'm going to do my gut instinct and then I'm just going to try to reason through it and then maybe I'll talk myself out of it.
Okay.
But my gut instinct is Remax up top.
Okay.
I do taxes in the middle and Ballerina on the bottom. Ballerina is the Subaru. Remax is the Yukon and I do taxes is the Honda Ridgeline. Let's do some zoomies and enhancements.
Yeah.
Especially on the Subaru, because I'm noticing now that we've got some things hanging from the windshield.
Yeah. Like maybe some figurines or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe some, I don't know, like a floral kind of thing.
It's a front view.
Yeah.
An Oregon plate.
Very clean car.
It does look clean. It's got roof bars on it.
It does.
But with no attachments.
Right.
Right. And then like the things dangling look cute.
Yeah, they are cute and like cute colors. Yeah. Yeah. I don't see it.
It is a cross track.
Oh, yeah. On the seats. Yeah. I don't see an obvious child seat there.
Yeah.
But they could have one of those mirrors on this mirror here.
That's making me feel good about my ballerina.
Okay.
I could see a ballerina driving in Oregon, an Oregonian ballerina driving a Subaru Crosstrek. I think that seems about right.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
Okay. And then there are like CPAs.
Yes.
And then there are people who do taxes and have 7 other jobs.
Right. Yes, you are correct.
Right?
You are correct. That's a good point.
And I feel like the Honda Ridgeline with the camper top says I have 8 jobs.
Okay. It gives that vibe. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I need the stuff for 5 of the jobs in the back of this truck. And by the way, I'll do your taxes.
Right. It's giving polyjob.
Yes. It's giving polyjob, which again, if you can make polyjob work,
right.
You need to know how to do taxes.
Right. You do need to know how to do taxes. Right.
And 2, good for you. That's the dream, right? You want to just, you know what? I'm going to do this today. And I'm going to pay my bills. It's great.
Bebop around.
Yeah. I am not making a value judgment about polyjob. I'm just saying the Honda Ridgeline with a camper top, that is a polyjob truck.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, this person has a sign in front of their house that they put up every, January.
Sure.
That says taxes done here.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is a mountain car. You could tell, like, this is a mountain car.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah. This is an OG Colorado plate.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then, I think a Yukon XL. This is a Kansas plate. Oh, man. I'm feeling better and better about my...
Are you? Yeah.
I am. I think new realtor license, Yukon XL.
Okay.
With a trailer hitch for a toy that you bought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feeling good about it.
Okay. I like the way you put that together. Okay. We're locked in.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to M. Night Shyamalan twist you, Ian.
Oh, no.
All right. The Yukon does taxes and the Ridgeline is Remax, which is insane. You were totally right. We need to get a hold of these two people and
have them switch plates.
Yes, make them swap plates
and professions.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I am now giving you my 9 jobs and I am now just selling real estate. Although I will say, I think that your mind was absolutely in the right place as far as like the Honda Ridgeline being a hustle car.
Yeah.
Right. Because I think that there is a kind of like a division of kind of real estate agents that are like very kind of like very hustle people. Mm-hmm. Like I know one where like they will do anything from like an insane high dollar property and are super comfortable and they fit very well within like the people, like how the people need to be handled for those kinds of properties and stuff, to like the like worst townhouse you've ever seen in your entire life that like a murder happened in.
Right.
And
yesterday.
Like, yeah. And they do not turn down work. Like do not turn down work. And like, and guess what? During the housing market crash in 2008, they still did fucking great. Right. Like true story.
Yeah.
But they actually drive or at one point drove an Acura MDX. Right? Like kind of the upgraded hustle-mobile of the Ridgeline. Right.
Okay. All right.
But no, I think that that is like the hustler vehicle, like the I got a lot of spinning plates kind of car, right? Because it has that mentality, versus like, I think if the Yukon had the Remax plate, it would be like the real estate agent that is also shuttling the kids to hockey practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Right. The kids and the kids' friends, right? The hockey team, right? But
man, that was a good one.
So we have PETA to thank for the Remax plate, Jordan to thank for ballerina, and Eric to thank for I do taxes.
Man, that was a good one.
So thank you, Eric, PETA, and Jordan. Yeah, absolutely. Nice.
I really want to put together a realtor one because I think I have enough of just realtor plates.
Yeah. No, I have a few. Right. So There you go. Yeah.
I like it.
Great job. I think that there is a glitch in the matrix. That there's like a Mandela effect where these two people do have the plates that you designated.
I like that. I like to think that.
Yeah.
No, I'm right.
Yes.
The universe is wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have an asterisk in your on your scorecard for this
record.
one. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes. So there you go. Well done, Ian.
Thank
well
you.
done.
A plus license plate game.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Should we close it out with an album of the week?
Yes. Yeah. Hit me with an album of the week. Yeah.
Okay.
And you're near your albums. Do you feel them like calling to you?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like just actually they're like right under me.
Oh.
They're right under me.
They are.
Uh-huh.
Nice and warm.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We are going to have a visit from a friend. So I think we did one by this guy last year, but he released a new EP recently in the last couple weeks. It's King Krule.
Okay. How do you spell that?
KING KRULE.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He's one of my...
Yeah, I remember you talking about this guy before. Yeah.
Yeah, he has like a super gravelly voice. And he does not look like he sounds at all.
Right.
I would definitely, if you're watching on YouTube and you saw his picture, I want you to just let us know if you think the picture matches the sound, because he's very like avant-garde, sort of experimental, kind of bluesy guitar music.
Okay.
And he has like a super gravelly, deep voice, and he looks like he's like 13 years old.
Yes, he does.
And it's very funny.
Okay.
But he released a new EP called Shh. So this is actually just an EP, just a 4-song EP.
Okay.
But man, everything that he releases, I like more. I like him more and more. So yeah.
Okay. King Krule.
Yeah. It's very good. And his last album, Space Heavy, was one of my favorite albums of last year. So, or the year before, whenever it came out. I really loved it.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll put links in the YouTube description for his music for sure. For specifically. Everybody loves that. Yeah. Okay.
Dave.
Ian.
We did a car show.
Yeah, I've been doing car stuff and we talked about cars.
We did.
Yeah.
Everybody, 720-515-1391, Apex Adjacent, everywhere else. Thank you. We love you. Goodbye.